Joining us this morning, Titania Jordan.
Tatiana Jordan. Did I get the name right? Jordan?
Titania.
Titania. Okay. All right.
It's Titania Jordan.
Thank you so much for tuning into Connect. I'm here with Eric Kierstead, CIO of BVEX, which, as you explained to me, is essentially a courier company, but it's so much more.
Right. So BVEX is a logistics company based right here in Atlanta. We've got about 4,000 drivers that operate as couriers, but then we also have about 1.5 million square feet of warehousing space in those 82 facilities across the United States. So really, but companies are we're best known for being a courier company.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a huge footprint, making an impact for so many businesses.
Right.
And it's really cool because you know about the big guys, the big names that you call and use to ship things, but they're calling you.
Yes, kind of interesting. So right now, a lot of companies, retailers primarily, are just clamoring to put together some kind of a home delivery solution to compete with Amazon. Right?
Yes, they are.
And they're the go-to move for a lot of these, I imagine, is to go to Federal Express or to UPS or maybe even the United States Postal Service. But when things don't fit those cookie-cutter models, they come to us. We're like the challenger courier company, and we will deliver things that really UPS and Federal Express really don't want to deliver. That just doesn't fit their model. And quite honestly, I think you were alluding to that, is that more and more, like Federal Express in particular, they're definitely a competitor, but they're also becoming a customer.
Yeah.
Because they'll get business and they'll say, we really just don't want to deliver this, what's called BVEX.
Right.
So quite often those kinds of non-standard packages and solutions that retailers need, they end up with us.
What are some of the unconventional items that you're asked to ship?
Well, one that comes to mind is like cabinets.
Cabinets.
It's kind of an interesting one. Cabinets. We have this.
They're bulky.
Yeah, they're bulky, and we do a lot of cabinet delivery, like on the West Coast for some reason. And we have three customers. And when I say customer, I'm talking about a company that hires us to deliver their products. So that's one example. Where we'll deliver to either a construction site or to Mr. and Mrs. Consumer who are remodeling their home. And one of the things that we do really well, as opposed to like a trucking company, like a truckload, semi-tractor trailer type company, is we're really good about hitting very prescriptive time windows. Like if someone says, okay, you got to deliver to this home between 12 and 1 because that's when they're home for lunch.
Right.
So we no problems, we'll be there between 12 and 1. Whereas you tell some of the companies that run full trucks as opposed to couriers, they're like, hey, look, we're coming by your town at like 5 o'clock in the evening, and that's all we can do, right?
Or between 12 and 8.
Yes, yes, exactly. So we actually have some customers, companies that hire us, where we deliver to their stores. We do like routed distribution to their stores, and they give us 10-minute windows. Wow. They say you shall show up at this store between 2:10 and 2:20, and if you don't, it's a major ding. So we handle all these kinds of like a little one-off delivery scenarios that, like we were saying earlier, like Federal Express and UPS, just really doesn't fit their models.
No, it would throw them off entirely, and that speaks to the work that you've done over the past year and a half in the whole IT infrastructure and logistics, and we'll talk about that in a minute. I want to talk about your impressive growth stats. So you were telling me first quarter of 2018, you're going to be doing more business than all of 2017.
Probably. The way it looks now, it's only January, but it's kind of interesting because, as I was saying earlier, a lot of these companies are just clamoring for a good home delivery solution. And what we were seeing was, back in like 2017 was a good year, I'd call it maybe like an average year, until about third quarter, maybe actually more like the fourth quarter. We started to see this incredible hockey stick of companies coming to us saying we need to have this delivery solution put in place, and it's just continued into the first quarter of 2018. And to your point, we see it just continuing probably for the next few years, I think, until things really kind of stabilize and everyone's got their home delivery solution put in place. So, but to your point, it looks like if things continue the way they're looking now, we'll do more business, new business in first quarter of 2018 than we did in the entire year of 2017.
And what do you think is driving that incredible growth beyond just the rush to everybody compete with Amazon, or is that it?
Well, that's part of it. I think also looking at from an IT perspective, one of the things, going back to I joined the company in the summer of 2016. One of my personal pet peeves is like when you buy something online, I really don't think you get very good online track and trace functionality from a lot of the companies that you buy from. So when I came to BVEX, one of the first things I did was I said, okay, let me look at their portal and see what they have for track and trace. So So I looked at it and said, to be honest with you, it was not very good. It was comparably weak like our competitors. So one of the things that I really leaned into in 2016 was really to get a much more comprehensive portal built where customers, and again the companies, that are giving our packages, not only them, but really the end consumer as well, but be able to go online and see really within seconds, for the customer, the companies we're providing, let them see e-signatures, because all the drivers are now using a phone and a mobile app, and they're getting an e-signature with a stylus on their touch screen. So I wanted to get that available to our customers online, really within seconds of them being collected at the delivery point. So we did that. Improved the track and trace, really, I'd say created a nice real-time control tower in 2016. And I would say, honestly, by the end of that project, we were competitive. We weren't beating up on our competitors. We were just on par. We were on par. So I said, what can I do, to create market differentiating technology for BVEX, which is really one of the things I like to do. It's like, as a CIO, I feel like it's my obligation to find a way to create market differentiation for the company through technology. So I was looking around at our competitors' portals, and one thing that I had seen in previous lives was that my last company, we put together an analytics dashboard for our customers. So, for example, in the courier business, obviously on-time delivery, very important metric. Scanning is important. So, when you take possession of something, you scan it to say, okay, BVEX now has it. And then when you deliver it, you scan it again and you get the e-signature and say, okay, BVEX no longer has custody of this package. So it's kind of a big deal to do receive scanning as well as delivery scanning. So looking at our competitors' websites, I didn't see any of them giving those kind of like metrics, real-time metrics.
Crazy.
Yeah, it seems pretty obvious.
Yeah.
So we set out on a new initiative in early 2017 to add this analytics dashboard and bake it into our portal. So really with one click, our customers could bring up and see, okay, BVEX has done whatever 99% we hope or more on-time deliveries, and scanning is 100%. And really have that at their fingertips. So then really our portal, in my mind, really covered both the real-time aspect as well as the historical performance. So like, this is how we're doing today. Here's the e-signatures that we're getting today. And here's how we performed for you over the last week, over the last month, over the last year. You get that on the analytics dashboard. So we added that in the second quarter of 2017. And that's when I saw things really starting to change for the company in terms of customers saying, this thing is really good. This is really good. You guys have done something that your competitors have not done yet. And some of our customers were actually saying to us, can we manage our other couriers through your portal?
Yes.
Which was really kind of interesting, because we're like, we love the metrics you're collecting, and we love this control tower dashboard. You're showing us all the deliveries you've made, and here's the e-signatures. We love this. We want to have our entire network of couriers available through your portal. So it's kind of an interesting thing that happened. And so long story short, or maybe long story longer, is what
interesting story as long as it needs to take.
Okay, so basically what we're doing now is we're spinning off a subsidiary, and we're calling it Courier Connect, and it's going to be a software, cloud-based software solution, so that it's going to be a platform where we're taking our portal and effectively extending it to speak to, communicate with other courier companies, so that now our customers, or any customer, doesn't have to be our customer, could use this software platform to push their orders, log in, see performance metrics, see the e-signatures, really for all the couriers in their network.
Software as a service.
Yeah, exactly. And it makes their life much easier because then they only have to go to one place. They get to see their entire delivery landscape through a single lens. If you have, I think to this day, more or less, if you had 7 courier companies, and that's pretty common, for companies that have national presence, they might have, several couriers. They don't typically like giving it all to one, break it up. So they might have 6, 7, 8 couriers supporting them throughout the United States, which means they have to go to 6, 7, or 8 portals to see, and they don't get a cohesive view of their entire delivery landscape. So this is really what we're going after. So it's going to be kind of exciting.
It's so smart. When will Courier Connect be live?
It's going to be, we're finishing up the platform in April.
Okay.
So early second quarter. We've got, alpha versions right now that we can demo. And we'll probably have a beta version, probably early April. We're probably going to go GA in May. You'll start seeing banner ads online probably in a month or so.
That's so awesome and innovative. And it speaks to your philosophy of coming to an organization and saying, what can you do to set yourself apart technology-wise?
Right.
And not only that, but you're known for showcasing IT as a profit center and not a loss or expense for the budget.
Right, and that's kind of how I've always looked at this. Again, going back to being the CIO, I feel like, okay, the first thing I got to do is create market differentiation for the company through technology, but then also, and then I also am like, I don't want to ever be looked at as a cost center.
No.
I want to be looked at as a profit center.
Yes.
And I've always kind of gone to my bosses and said, treat me like a profit center. So at the end of the year, we'll have an ROI conversation about, my budget and the revenue we've generated for the company. So, fingers crossed, I'm cautiously optimistic that Courier Connect is going to be a big success for BVEX.
Well, I'm sure they enjoy the fact that you want to have that ROI conversation with them.
Yeah. Thanks.
And let's talk about your background. How did you get to be a CIO? Have you always known that you wanted to be in technology, or what was your path here?
Well, I'll tell you, I started off as a software engineer. I got a master's degree in computer science, and started off as a software engineer, and I was never the best software engineer in the room. I was always like the one that was saying, okay, how do we leverage this technology to solve a business problem?
Right.
Not like, how am I going to crank out the best Java in the world? It was more like, how do I leverage this to create, to solve business problems? So in that regard, it kind of led me into more of a leadership role, and just kind of, as times progressed, I've kind of, moved through the ranks, and now CIO, managing the whole team and the whole IT infrastructure. But really my passion has always been software development, and like I was saying earlier, just solving business problems through technology.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's so
thanks.
great. So because you're in this role, over the past few years I've been learning more and more about leadership, and there's so much content out there.
Yeah.
Some of it's good.
You have some good content here.
Thank
in fact,
you.
3CI.
Yes. 3CI
absolutely.
has really helped pour into me to learn how to be a better, more effective servant leader. And I love that about them and our relationship. But do you have any leadership tidbits that you can maybe share with people watching?
So I think really one good thing, and you mentioned it earlier, is service-oriented leadership. I think one of the things that I like to do every day when I walk in the office is say, okay, what can I do to facilitate my team's success?
Yes.
Not what can I do to make me look great. It's more about like,
what can you do for me today?
Yeah, I remember my first boss, and I won't mention his name, but he said to me, your job is to make me look good. And I have taken that, my mindset has always been the exact opposite. I go to my team and say, my job is to make you look good. Really, so my job is to facilitate your success, because you know what? I'll go along with the tide. If you're successful, I'll look successful. But really, it's all about you and advancing your career, and day to day, just being tactical and facilitating your success, whatever I can do to help. And then the other thing I would say is, one other thing I've learned through 30 plus years of software development is that don't let perfection get in the way of very good.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, one thing I've learned is, you can get to very good, let's just say in 4 months, but it might take a year and 4 months to get to perfection.
And that's like a light year in tech terms.
Yes, and to me, you lose so many opportunities to really make hay. So you have to have that sixth sense as a leader of when the software or when your solution is good enough to go live. Waiting for perfection, you might miss your window, right? So that's kind of like, the one thing I talk to my bosses all the time. I say, don't let perfection get in the way of very good.
That's so true. That's definitely going to be a quote that we blast on social with regards to this interview and our time together.
And I know just the final thought on that was that, going back to I started off in telecommunications, and we learned that, if you wanted a telephone network to be 5 nines reliable, it would cost X. If you wanted it to be 6 nines reliable, like 99.9999 reliable, it would cost 10 times X.
Wow.
So to get that sixth 9 would cost 10 times, and that's like when you say, okay, 5 nines might be good enough. In fact, really, 4 nines might be good enough.
Right.
Right, and that's the whole thing about perfection. Maybe you don't need perfection. You only need 5 nines, right? So something to think about.
That's so great. How do you stay on top of trends? What are you reading? Who are you following? Where do you interact?
Well, the great news about being in Atlanta, and I've been here about 1.5 years, is that there's so many more avenues in Atlanta in terms of I get invited, I think every week now to at least one event where there's going to be a company or maybe 2 or 3 companies sponsoring a happy hour or a dinner or a lunch where they're talking about their products. And to me, I really look at that as a great opportunity to stay present because, if you keep your head down too long in technology, you're going to miss things that are happening because it moves so quickly.
Absolutely.
So that's what I've really enjoyed. And then once or twice a year, I go to a trade show.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously stay on, read. I subscribe to CIO Dive, Data Breaches Today, and all these little e-magazines that come out because it's great to just read those and stay up to date on what's going on.
I've finally had to come to terms with the fact this year that I will not be able to read all the things that I want to read before I die. It's just not possible between
Right.
email and newsletters and books.
Yes.
And so I'm going to try and read as much as I can, but it's just the plethora of content out
Yes.
there. It's mind-blowing.
Yeah, especially I know within the IT space,
Yeah.
just things are exploding in so many different dimensions within IT that you almost have to pick and choose. Okay, I'm going to really focus on learning this technology. Like for us, big data is fairly important because we have that analytics dashboard. So I'm staying up on business intelligence and big data and things like that, and kind of at the expense of maybe telecommunications, which I've been out of telecommunications for about 5 years and don't spend as much time reading about the next generation of wireless protocols that are coming along.
Yeah.
Just kind of say, okay, I'll go to my wireless store and learn about it when it's available.
It's what
Whatever.
consultants are for. Eric, what can those of us watching right now do to pour into you personally or you professionally? How can we support your initiatives at BVEX? We and the culture of how can we help make you successful?
Oh, thank you.
What can we do? How can we help?
Well, I'll tell you, for companies, people that are listening that work for companies that might be looking for a home delivery strategy, I would encourage you just to go take a look at bevex.com and take a look. It's beavex.com and see if what we're providing could be a fit there. And then also, I think just keep your eyes open for Courier Connect and the banner ads.
Yeah.
And that should be coming out, like I said, in 1 to 2 months.
Wow.
So
That's so great.
we'll keep you posted on that for sure.
Please do. We'll put that link in the description below, both to BVEX and Courier Connect, so you can just click and follow and do all the things. Are you on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn?
LinkedIn. I'm on Twitter, but quite honestly, not as much as I should be.
Yeah.
But LinkedIn definitely.
Cool. So look him up on LinkedIn and follow any thought leadership pieces he's putting out there. Eric, it was so cool to hear about what you're doing. You're truly an innovator in your space. I look forward to following your path. And is there anything that you want to say before we wrap?
No, just thanks again to Tanya for having me here. It's great. I was here about 1.5 years ago on the other show that you sponsored.
Yes.
So it's great to be back. Thank you
yeah.
very much for the invitation.
You're a rock star. Eric Kierstead, CIO BVEX, awesome. Thanks.
Thank you.